Welcome to part 2 of the little known areas that are ruining your GM pickup. Here's another spot. I didn't think I'd be making a series of these, but I keep finding new areas that surprise me. And the whole point of this is to help everybody else out. Just realize where we need to point the hose, pressure washer or garden hose, or otherwise, in order to keep this and that from happening. Each of these doors has one of these seals right here on the bottom, and it's just got six little push tabs. Comes off easily if you have one of these little pry bars, but you don't even have to pull it off. Just lift it and get behind it. It's actually sitting tight against the door panel, and look at what happened behind it. It was incredible the amount of sand and rust that came out when I pulled on it. And of course now I have to rebuild the bottom of the door. It's actually not terrible, just disappointing that it happened. All the doors on this truck, there's 4 of them, it's an extended cab, have this seal on the bottom. And this being a driver's side is going to be the worst one, because there's usually more salt. There's always more salt in the middle of the road than there is on the sides. Passenger side of this truck is actually in great shape. And yet, here's what we got on the driver's side. Compounded by a problem with the drain holes GM puts in aren't actually, some of them are right at the bottom, but they're small. And they have larger drain holes higher up, which means it catches moisture down here. But especially in the rust belt here, salt and sand gets in there, and the sand actually holds the moisture, and salt will maintain a relative humidity of 70 to 75%. So even in summer, if you haven't cleaned that off, your truck is sitting there just slowly dying. Golly. Even if you don't live in a rust belt, if you had one storm you drove through somewhere, or if you live on a gravel road or a sandy road, you're going to have sand in there, and it's wearing away. You know, things are shaking. So think about that. Stick a hose behind there, wash her down, maybe spray a little oil behind it, whatever it is, your rust proofing of choice. And while we're at it, a few other little discoveries here. Not a videographer. I don't edit my videos, so apologize if this is not quite as slick as you're used to seeing. This is the inner fender in the truck box. There's a gas filler. That whole area that I'm got centered here, any place where sand and such can get in, where any place where 2 panels meet, here, let me try up in there, that is just prime for holding sand, salt, moisture, whatever you want. And once it's there, it's just sitting there, and it's going to rust. Look at the rest of this panel. You know, it's exposed to the elements. It's perfect. And another thing to note here is, see that flaky stuff? That's rubberized undercoating. Over here, the gas filler, obviously it's had some splashes and such, so all of that stuff is washed off. But look at that, it's pristine. Do not spray rubberized undercoating on your vehicles. It'll flake, and then it just holds salt, sand, moisture behind it. If I reach up here, feel that up there. Perfect example. You can see the salt stain right behind it. That is what rotted this thing. It probably had, look at that, probably had begun to rust, and thinking he'd do something good, he had it coated, and it just made it worse. That or it was coated right off the bat and just not kept up. But you know what? We have a perfect example right here. You got clean sheet metal and you keep it clean, you're not going to have a problem. On these areas, like that's flapping in the wind. So get in there with your garden hose, pressure washer if you have one, but just a garden hose, just flush it in the spring, and once in a while, just maybe every time you wash the damn truck. That would help a ton. Like, these are really great vehicles. Mechanically solid, they last a long time. I hate to see them rot like this. And I have the 2012 version of this guy that's pretty much in pristine shape, never winter driven. And if nothing else, I'm making this video series to remind myself where to go point the hose at in the spring, because I've never done this. I've never crawled under that one because it still looks great, but I'm positive that I'm going to have little surprises in there. And I might have to make another video series on how to clean that up and prevent anything from getting worse. I really like that little truck. It's a regular cab short box. My favorite kind. So, crawl under these things. Go look around. And forget undercoating. Look at that. That rubberized undercoating, that did nothing for this truck. It's just a heavy coating. Look at this right here. See that? It's got some kind of texture to it. Look at it. See the sand falling down? Guess what? That's not doing a damn bit of good to this thing here. That's making things just all that much worse. So there you have it, everybody. Hope this helps somebody. Here's another little spot. They got these little sheet metal areas that are pressed over. Look at the amount of salt that holds right there. Get familiar with your pressure washer. If you don't have one, do the best you can with a garden hose. The previous owner had taken care of this thing properly. I don't believe he would have sold it for what I got it for. But I'm going to save this sucker. Cool. A little frustrating, but I hope I can save somebody the frustration of seeing their $40,000 to $50,000 investment turn into this in 10 years. See you next time. Thanks.